Hello and welcome to today's podcast. My name is Keira and today I'm sitting down with the co-founder of Hub. Tim, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hey Keira, pleasure to be here in Singapore with you.
Absolutely, and we are coming live from one of the biggest global AI and crypto events. It's been an absolutely wild week and I'm really excited to dive into more conversation to learn about you as a co-founder for one of the biggest data decentralized companies that is going to be positioning itself to go up against some of these biggest tech giants out there.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to be here to answer your different questions about what we do at Hub. We've been building some amazing things recently, and we are very happy to share that in today's podcast and also to give some background about myself.
Absolutely. I always find it really interesting when I'm sitting down with tech founders, particularly to learn about your journey into learning AI, discovering AI, and your background and your journey into this space. So give me a little bit of an introduction about how you positioned yourself to become the co-founder of Hub.
Yeah, so quick story. I grew up in France. I had a couple of side hustles when I was younger. And when I turned 18, I went to a French business school to study international business. And there I was quite frustrated that I wasn't applying the things that I was learning at school. And so that's how I started my first e-commerce ventures at 18 years old. And I was on a very tight schedule because I was learning everything about marketing, operations, supply chains, go-to-market strategy. And at the same time, I was at school during the day trying to keep up with all the class. And so it was kind of a hectic moment at this time. And after a couple months, I had some very good results with my first businesses. And so I decided to drop out from school and to focus on my entrepreneurial journey. I've been advising a couple startups at this time, especially in tech, working with them on operations and GTM. That's also where I learned this taste that I have now about fast-paced environment that define, in my opinion, the startup environment. And so in 2021, during the COVID pandemic, I also been involved into the pharmaceutical industry, especially with all the network that I've built in e-commerce. I've been able to facilitate some deals between the Asian market and France to provide public medical goods to the general public. And I did also very well with that. And after this moment, I decided to only focus on tech startups, still on the consultancy and advisory side. That's how I met Armin, my co-founder, that is more on the tech side of things. And together in early 2023, we decided to co-found Hub.xyz, that you can see here, and to build the first distributed multi-modal data infrastructure. And we'll have the opportunity to discuss it today.
Fantastic. So what does that actually mean? A programmable bandwidth super network?
So at Hub, we have an end-to-end data pipeline that goes from data collection to processing, refinement, annotation, QA for AI companies to facilitate their AI training. And what we mean by programmable bandwidth super network, it's on the data collection side of the infrastructure. We have and we are building a distributed network of users where they will be able to download a browser extension or a desktop application on their device, and their device will act as a node. Through this node, we can get access to the network settings of the users, and we can fetch public data at scale through their IP and through their idle bandwidth. So it's a way for us to transform this wasted resource that is the bandwidth, because currently you are watching this podcast, you are not consuming all of your bandwidth, all of your internet connection, and a part of this bandwidth can be used, in fact, to generate value for the AI industry and through the data collection, through the scrapping.
Interesting. So to break that down a little bit more, you might have, say, your computer or your cell phone, and we're all allocated a certain amount of bandwidth through our network, whatever provider we might be using. But you're saying to me that we actually only use a very small fraction of this. So users can take the part that they're not using and, I guess, pledge it towards Hub, and then what Hub will then use with the extra bandwidth, go online, scrape data, collect data, and then use this. So what are you doing once you scrape the internet? There's so much data out there. Why is data so important right now? Why is everybody scrapping over it?
Yeah, so data is the main foundation of AI in AI training, and the quality of data is more important than anything else currently for AI training. There is, of course, like all the issues we see with the price of inference, with the GPUs, etc. But data is still one of the biggest bottlenecks now in AI. And that's something that we want to solve at Hub, because there is, as you say, plenty of data that you can collect everywhere on internet. But what is also valuable, and what is most of all valuable, is the high quality data sets that we are currently building at Hub.
So if we talk about AI, it's a very hot topic at the moment. My grandma's using it, my friends are using it, I'm using it on a day-to-day basis. So let's just educate people a little bit more around AI and what is one of the main ingredients into AI is data. And what you're telling me now is that there's actually not that good quality data. So if we're the input into these models or into these AI agents is bad data, is going to get bad results out. So how is Hub positioning themselves to make sure you consistently get good quality data that can be used for any AI model?
Yeah, so one of the biggest bottleneck in AI now is currently data. Of course, GPUs, compute, the price of inference are some big bottlenecks that a lot of people are working on, but data is also one of the big things at the moment. So there is different things for AI companies. First is to have a reliable data pipeline to provide data at scale for their training, but also to provide high quality data. And that's one of the things that we specialize at Hub. But how we go sometimes from unusable data online that we collect online or bronze grade data sets, and how we transform that into silver or gold standard data sets. That's one of the big things that we specialize at Hub, especially for some type of low resource or hard to access data sets online. For example, it can be specific region of the world, or it can be specific type of data like audio or video that will not be in good enough quality for AI training. And so it needs a robust data pipeline that, as the one we have at Hub, to be able to deliver it while keeping a scale that is interesting for the AI companies for their training.
What an incredible background you have there, Tim. You are constantly wearing different hats, marketing, operations, and I think this is a fundamental personality trait that is very important for founders. So I know that Hub has been building since 2023. So I want to learn a little bit more around the journey, because you are one of the strongest communities in AI. So how did you go about initially finding these grassroots and building the community to what it is today?
Yeah, good question. And what's something that we really have at Hub is that we always put the community first in everything that we did in the past, and we can see it from the journey that we have during those 2.5 years. We first started with a social product because we wanted to onboard a massive community and we wanted to onboard high quality people in our network. So we are looking at the states of the market, and we are like, okay, what kind of social products could bring us a lot of virality and a lot of loyalty? And that's how we built, I think, the biggest Web3 link in bio network by far, with 45 million cumulated followers from approximately 2,000 projects and creators that are using it in their Twitter bio. So it was a kind of a no-code page builder where they can put all their data and different social links and image and videos and things like that. We did quite well with that, and we onboarded a strong community. And then earlier this year, we started to go into the current narrative that we have, and we started to convert the community that we had into this new narrative and this new big marketing and GTM campaign that we release. And with that, we release in February 2025 the Hub AI Agent experience. And so we were the first to gamify AI training on social networks, especially on X. We onboarded 500,000 users on the platform, the Hub AI Agent platform. We had almost 10 million replies on X only. We've been banned. I think you remember that. We've been banned 1 week or 2 weeks from Twitter because of the engagement that we had. We've been also, after their verification, we've been reinstalled on the platform, of course. But we had some amazing results. And at this moment, it was for us the first, as we say, narrative product that we really released, because it was a way for the users to exchange some data, some knowledge against some points in order to train an AI. And so to make it very simple, the Hub AI Agent were asking questions about the market on a daily basis, and based on the quality of the answer of the users, they were getting a range of points, of what we call the IQ points, to measure the smartness of the answer. And that's how we are moving now with a new season, the season 2, that will be the release of this distributed data infrastructure. And it will be a new way for users to earn points in exchange of resource that they are providing to the network. So when we look at it, community has always been first. And me, on a personal level, I deeply think that the greatest things in the world have been built through the power of community. And we see it also at Hub. I think that's what makes us that attractive for investors and partners.
So you already have such a well-established community through these different social networks that you've managed to build, and now you're adding this extra layer of AI and data collection. So I want to know, how do you go about creating stories and narratives and keeping your community excited about what you are delivering?
Yeah, so we personally also have a marketing background on top of the deep technical knowledge that we acquired over time. And so this is one of the strengths at Hub. We always wanted to build some storytelling for the community, and I think that's why also we had some big success with the precedent campaign that we released, because we created this whole storytelling with the cult character, with the cult members, with the Hub AI agent platform that weren't just like an AI agent a basic AI agent. We created a whole storytelling where we framed the platform as an initiation journey with 10 levels, with some interesting names, like, for example, Adept of Shadows, like some kind of rewards that were directly tied to the storytelling, with a lot also of 3D videos for the cults and for the storytelling and the branding. And this is also something that I learned in the past by working with different clients in e-commerce and building for them some brands, some storytelling here. And so we put everything together and we decided to mix tech, storytelling, and marketing. And that's basically what Hub is currently at the moment. And that's, I think, why it's so powerful. And we always also listen to the community, and we always use some community members in the main action of the campaigns to make sure that this is what they want to see, to give them the choice also to decide between different type of campaigns or different type of activations. So we also built all the campaigns that we did in the past with the key community members. And I think that by listening to the community, we've also been able to build something that really fits what they want.
I couldn't agree more. I think that the power of true communities and not bots, because I've seen it so many times in different projects where they have just not really onboarded true users and they've inflated their numbers through bots and whatnot. And we really see that when they launch their products, they've actually got no true users. But I feel what you have done with the Hub is actually brought your community through different products and managed to maintain that community, which I think goes to stand for incredible marketing and incredible product as well. But speaking on the topic of incredible product, you've got the great product, you've got great community, but how are you fostering these B2B relationships to actually take Hub to the next level?
Yeah, good question. So here it's interesting to discuss about what we are currently releasing with this distributed multi-modal data infrastructure. So we have an end-to-end data pipeline for AI companies where we go from data collection to cleaning, refinement, processing, annotation, QA. And with this whole data pipeline, we are able to provide a high-quality data sets at scale to AI companies for their AI training. But at the entry point of the data pipeline is the data collection part. And for that, we use and we leverage a distributed network of nodes, of users, that by downloading a browser extension or a desktop application, will be able to share their idle bandwidth and their IP address to Hub to fetch and scrap basically public data at scale. And so it's a way for us to transform something that is being wasted currently, the bandwidth, the internet connections of the user, and transform that into real value for AI companies. And here, if you think about it, it's almost the same concept than it was with the AI agent, where the user, it was a distributed network of users, were contributing some data by replying to the agent, and in exchange, they were getting some points. Here, they are contributing by giving some bandwidth, and they are getting some points. So there is this narrative that we want to push, and we see some strong interest from the community on this side. On the other side, on the B2B, we just hired our new head of sales, that is Jeff, that is him. And he did 14 years at Google. He did also 2 years at Brightdata, which is a scrapping company in Web2. Even though we are not a scrapping company, it's part of the business model that we have to also do some data collection of public data. And so he's bringing a lot of deal flow. He's bringing a lot of network from the Bay Area. Even me on a personal level, I'm moving currently to San Francisco. I spent some time recently there, and I'm building the B2B pipeline there. And it was amazing when I arrived to see all the interests we have from startups, scale-ups, and even major top 5, top 10 tech companies that are interested by the service that we provide. Because also here, if you think about it, in the state of data, there is a lot of different companies in the field, of course, but there is not, in my opinion, enough, or there is not like companies that have the end-to-end data pipeline as we do, from data collection to everything in the process. Some of them, like Scale.ai, for example, that have been acquired by Meta for 14 billion, are providing the labeling side of things or the annotation side of things. Other companies like Brightdata that we just mentioned are providing the scrapping parts or the data collection parts. But Hub is providing the end-to-end data pipeline. And this is, for us, a big, unique value proposition. And it brought to us a lot of business when we first arrived in the Bay Area. And now we are compounding on that. And we have the first customer that are satisfied by what we provide. And so it's becoming more and more easy for us to develop the pipeline. Also, we had, through the different use cases that we worked on with those customers, the opportunity to improve the pipeline to meet the requirement of those companies. And what is very interesting is each time we are working on a new use case with a new customer, the pipeline is being improved. And it's getting more and more robust, more and more qualitative over time, and more attractive for B2B deals.
So you're looking at America as one of the biggest markets to tap into. Why are you choosing America?
So it's pretty easy, actually. All our current customers are AI companies, and all of them are in the Bay Area, either San Francisco or in South Bay. I'm personally currently settling in Palo Alto, just below San Francisco. And it's where, in my opinion, the forefront of AI is being built, where frontier AI is being built, actually. Going to events there is just mind-blowing every time to discuss with all the talents, all the passionate people in the field. In terms of mindset, it's also something that is amazing for me. All the people willing to help you with referrals, willing to collaborate with you, and that are always like paying forward basically on the introduction and on the networking. So for me, it's the land of opportunity. It's where most of the AI companies are, and it makes a lot of sense also for me to be there.
Absolutely. If you're surrounding yourself in the environment with other people building it in the AI industry, you can easily network with them, partner up, provide them these unique data sets. Like you said, you're providing end-to-end deliverability for searching and finding the data, cleaning the data, organizing the data, and making it into a gold standard that they can actually get really good products out of it. Because I remember before the podcast, we were speaking a little bit around that you are able to unlock new markets and opportunities for some of these businesses that you are working with because you're able to source data that they weren't previously able to get. Would you like to expand a little bit?
Yeah, it's a very good point, actually. We have some NDA, so I can disclose the name of the companies, but something that I can say is, for example, in the voice AI field, we are able to open currently new market for some companies because they were being blocked by one of the bottleneck for them that they weren't able to source high quality data in some specific language or dialects in the world. And so it was for them a big blocker that were restraining them from going to those new markets. And through that advanced data pipeline that we have at Hub, we are able not only to collect this data, but also to clean it, to refine it, and to make it AI ready. And so we are able to take some audio that will be too low quality, too noisy, with a lot of background noise, for example, or music, and we are able to refine it and make it AI ready. Plus, we are working on isolation for voice, so if they want to have also annotation for each speaker, we can do it. And we are able, like this, to go from something that was unusable or bronze type of data sets into something that is now silver or gold standard. And for us, that's something that we are very happy and proud about, because we can directly measure the height impact that we have on AI and on some type of AI companies. And so this is only the beginning, because we just started 1.5 months ago to start on the B2B sales pipeline. But we are already seeing this type of result that are bringing us new fresh customers also, because of course people are satisfied by the solutions we provide, and they are talking between each other. So that's the type of use cases that we currently are able to do for this type of company.
I want to know, what is the consequence of a company using poor quality data? Does it have an impact on their product? What is how can you quantify that impact, and how do you quantify that you're able to actually unlock these new markets?
Yeah, so for model training, if you train models with too low quality data, or data that is just incorrect and that is not what you need, you will end up with a model that is not working well. And it's basically this thing of garbage in, garbage out. And so basically, if you input garbage data into a model, you will end up with garbage results. That's how data is that important today. Of course, the scale is very important, but the quality of the data is also very, very important.
So you mentioned earlier on that the data that Hub is actually sourcing is publicly available. I know that at the moment, people are understanding the value of data and trying to protect that, or trying to actually monetize that, and putting up paywalls against actually publicly available data. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that we saw recently on the market some updates like Cloudflare's paper crawl or this kind of restriction. And for me, it's totally against the open principle of the web. And it's currently, they are trying to gatekeep the public data, something that should be available to the public, that should be available for the training, and that should be available for the education also. And by trying to gatekeep that, they are creating a permissioned internet that will only benefit to the biggest players that are able to handle this complexity for data collection, and to pay the costs also for this data collection. And what we do at Hub is, through our decentralized network, we are able to bypass those paywalls. So that's the first thing that we have. And the second thing that we build at Hub is to create an open platform. We don't want people to be sidelined, we don't want builders to be sidelined, and we don't want innovation to be gatekept behind paywall. So there is no restriction on our platform on who can contribute to it. There is no different layer of complexity. So you can be a small startup, or you can be a big enterprise. You will be able to tap into the Hub network at a fair price.
That's interesting, because I know that a lot of the publicly available data online has already been used and has been training these AI models, which we are starting to see answers and products coming out that are very, very similar. If I type in a question to, say, Grok and Perplexity and Claude, they're all kind of very similar. And I think this goes to say that a lot of the available data online has actually already been tapped and been used for these markets. How are you guys going to be bringing new data into the ecosystems and actually making sure that you're getting proper good data for these companies that are after it?
Yeah. Good question. And something interesting to mention is that most of the textual data have been scrapped. And what we specialize at Hub is the multi-modal data. And something good to say is, what is very becoming valuable now in the data world is video, audio, and image. The kind of subtlety or nuances that the human mind have also. And this is where the frontier AI is being built at the moment. On top of that, in the distributed network that we are building, we will release a bit later during the year some new type of features that will allow us to crowdsource data. So we will be able to provide to AI companies not only public data that is available online, but also data that has been crowdsourced from the users. So directly through data that they have on their device or data that they want to contribute by going, for example, in the real world and taking their phone and recording some specific elements based on the use cases, based on the demand that we have, plus the off-the-shelf dataset collection that we will do.
That's interesting. So kind of like Pokemon Go a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you say if I'm a company that's particularly interested in surfing weather or data that's associated with surfing, you can incentivize your community to go out there and collect this new data, which then you can then take in, clean, organize, and provide to a company that's looking for this sort of information, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also something very interesting, I know like not everyone that will listen to this podcast is aware of how like the current data pipeline in AI training works, but something very valuable in the current data pipeline that we have is human in the loop, HITL as we call that. Human in the loop for what? For annotations or QA, quality assurance. And we are currently working with third-party providers to provide us that through the data pipeline that we have. But in the future, in the coming months, we'll also open this feature for the community. So on top of providing in, let's say, a passive way, their bandwidth and their IP address, they will be able to more and more have an active participation in the network by providing some annotation on some type of data sets or providing some QA or, as we just say, crowdsourcing some data. And this is where we'll go from a passive participation into an active participation with, of course, more rewards for the users that will be selected into this beta testing.
So building products on top of products, I think, and integrating your community into that to provide solutions that are in demand by businesses is kind of what you've just told me, right?
Yeah, and it's directly something that we take from the learning that we had by working with all those big AI companies and by really like understanding the market, by doing things that don't scale at the beginning, and hands in hands with them, we are building a more robust data pipeline. And here again, as always at Hub, we leverage our community for that because we are a community-driven tech company.
It's really interesting to hear where you guys are going and a little bit of your tease into the roadmap ahead. But I want to know sort of where you guys are at right now. What sort of stage are you at with your fundraising? Are you looking to onboard new investors, or just give me a lay of the land?
Yeah. We just closed our pre-seed round, actually. We also did a successful angel round before the summer. The pre-seed has been closed 2 weeks ago, and we are now entering the seed round. We had some impressive investors in the angel round, Michael from Zero Gravity. We have people like Patrick Colangelo from Nessa.ai and Everlyn. We have also big Web2 institutional players like Michael from BSO, which is one of the biggest infrastructure company in the world and data centers company in the world. And for the seed round, we also onboarded as a lead investor Swissborg, that is the biggest digital wealth management platform in Europe with more than 1 million KYC also. Some other investors like Hyperfusions, .io, etc. And you can notice here that all those investors can directly have a strong impact on Hub. And that's something that we wanted to do with those early rounds, is to bring in the cap table strategic players, not only for the money, but also for the value that they will provide to Hub. For example, Swissborg, with this 1 million user base, can directly, part of it will be converted in the distributed network that we build. So we'll be able to onboard a part of their users, providing some exclusive perks to them. With BSO, we discuss it, one of the biggest infrastructure company in the world. We are directly leveraging their data centers for the IPs, for the storage. Hyperfusion, same. We are leveraging their GPUs also for the different AI models that we have at Hub. And that's how we envisioned also the seed round, to bring some strategic players in the cap table. And that's something that we are very excited to kick off. And we had already some strong interest during Singapore for Token 2049 this week.
Of course, I think surrounding yourself with that great network, you can start to create those network effects which will scale Hub, I think, at phenomenal rates. It's very exciting. So I understand that you're currently looking to bring in new strategic partners. What is your plan to do? Are you looking to expand the team, develop new tech, or more marketing, or what's the next step for Hub?
Yeah, so after launching the B2B sales pipeline 1 month and a half ago, we've been quite submerged by the demand for the different use cases and the different clients that we have, which is always a good news. But at the same time, we need to scale the technical team for that to meet this demand, especially some machine learning engineers, new data scientists, and new people to manage also the deals that we have on the sales part. So this is where most of the money will be spent. It's on the scaling side of things, and this is something that we are very excited also about.
So how can people get in contact with you?
So it's easy. Tim, Tim at Hub.xyz, or directly on LinkedIn, Tim Sprecher.
So that's how we contact you, Tim. But I want to know from a user's perspective, anybody that might be out there listening who has a cell phone or a laptop, how do I actually get involved in Hub? Like, what does it actually mean as a user? Do I have to download an app? Do I download a browser extension? Or how does it actually work behind the scenes?
Yeah, so it will be pretty easy. They can directly follow us on Hub or join us on Hub.xyz. And in the coming weeks, they will be able to download this browser extension, and it will act kind of as a VPN in terms of user experience. So for them, it will be just like a switch on and off. And when it's on, they are getting some points automatically in exchange of sharing their idle bandwidth with us. And we will basically upcycle this bandwidth. So we make sure that they will not have any bugs also by contributing to the network and any impact on their own internet user experience. And once they become part of the Hub community, they also start to get some points that will be redeemed into Hub token. I can't give yet a date for the token, but it's also something that is very exciting for us because we are planning a lot of interesting mechanisms to have a value accrual token with some burning, with some buyback, and with a lot of different mechanisms. Stacking also, I'm not sharing too much alpha here, but we'll have the opportunity to reveal that in the coming weeks and months. I know that a lot of community members are already waiting for that and asking when it's coming. We are taking our time for that because we don't want to release a token without any utility. And I think it's one of the big things, currently the big issue with Web3 and crypto. A lot of projects are rushing, maybe because of issue with funds, for example, are rushing to release a token without any utility, without any backing, without any business model. And at the end, they finish with a token that is going down and with community members that are not happy and with a business that is basically dying. That's something that we want to avoid at Hub. That's why even before launching the distributed network, we already have an impressive pipeline of clients that we are able to get through some other ways to collect data with all the partners that we have, the data centers, etc. We are able to collect this data. And even before the launch, we already have this pipeline ready. And I think that's a good example of the mindset that we have at Hub. And that's a good thing for the users that are already contributing to the network because they can be sure that we will do our best to always have a strong business model behind the token and behind the points and the things that the user will earn.
So it's as easy as downloading a browser extension, turning on a switch, and I will start to collect points. So whereabouts do I go to download this browser extension?
Yeah, so once it will be ready, they will be able to directly go on the website, Hub.xyz, and to get access to the platform. It's not live yet, but when it will be, for sure, people will see it on Twitter.
I want to know, how are you breaking into people outside of your community, outside of crypto Twitter? How are you educating people that they can simply download an app, an extension, and start to earn points that can potentially turn into true real-world value? They might be able to be using their idle bandwidth to now go and earn money and buy a coffee or something. So how are you breaking into these new markets that aren't familiar with AI and crypto, but they do have a device, they do have the internet, or they do have their phone, but they don't actually realize that they've got so much more potential that they can be using out of their networks?
Yeah. First of all, it starts by the go-to-market strategy that we have on the B2C side of things. So we started with Web3 and we onboarded quite a big part already of the Web3 community on the platform, and we will keep pushing on that for the initial launch. But the next step for us will be to also go into Web 2 and into, as you say, traditional markets. And that's why the current platform that we have is already made for that. With wallet abstraction, there is no need to connect a wallet. The wallet is something that you see, but it's almost hidden. It's the email that you see, that you connect with for your account. You can link your Twitter or your Discord account also, but this is really like a wallet abstraction. And this will allow us to onboard the Web 2 communities. On top of that, we are already working with some type of big gaming community in Web 2, and we will start the GTM in Web 2 with that, with all the gamers that have a lot of bandwidth, sometimes good connections, and they want to share that in exchange of getting some points. And there will be, here I can tease, but there will be some type of exclusive perks that will be linked to gaming, to maybe some gaming cards. I can't tell more, but this is the kind of use cases that we see to also go into the bigger market, that is of course the Web 2 market.
So talking about breaking into these bigger markets, and where do you see Hub positioning itself against other data giants? I know that you said Scale AI has just got acquired by Meta. How are you guys positioning yourself in the 3 to 5 year longer term vision to make sure you guys are at that number one position?
Yeah. So the unique value proposition at a Hub that we have on top of the distributed network that makes us like censorship resistant, that make us more cost efficient for your companies, and that brings a lot of values, is to own the end-to-end data pipeline. And as you just said, Scale AI, that is of course an impressive company, only own the labeling part of things. So for example, companies need to go to Scale AI with their own data and then to have it labeled by Scale AI. But what we do at Hub is that we own the end-to-end pipeline. So we will not only provide the labeling service for the AI companies, we will also collect it, and we will also work backwards from the initial requirement of the company to deliver something that they really want. What will be the big challenge on that for the 3 to 5 next years? It will be to scale it into something that could be 100% automated. And this is where the big things will be made, and where the big opportunity is also. At the beginning, we start with things that don't scale approach and mindset, and I think that's how you can build in a lean startup way a product that really fits the market. And we already see it with a first PMF, a first product market fit. And this is because we did these hard things of things that don't scale at the beginning to put extra attention to the customers that we have, to really understand, okay, what are currently in AI training their pain points, and how we can currently solve that with our end-to-end pipeline.
Solving the end-to-end pipeline is going to be a really interesting journey for Hub, especially, I know, bringing your community along. And like you said, you're looking to automate everything, but your community is the fundamental behind where you've got to today. You said you've brought them throughout the past 2 years, since 2023. You've been working very closely with not only your community and your clients, but I want to know, is there any final words or thanks that you want to shout out to them? Because I think that you guys wouldn't be here today without them, right?
Yeah, I want to shout out to all the cult members of Hub, all the community members that we have, that trust us since months and even since years. And I want to reassure them that, of course, the token launch will happen. We are taking our time, as we said, but it's to provide you guys the best value when we will be live, and to provide you with a strong token utility. And I want also to shout out to, of course, the Hub team that is working hard day and night to provide some amazing results on all the side of the business, the marketing, of course, the tech, the sales. And I want to shout out also to all our partners, all our clients that we have. And it's an amazing things for us to be able to learn along their side and to build hands in hands with them the data pipeline that we currently have, and to be able to do some breakthrough through the learnings that we make with them. And finally, Keira, I want also to thank you for being here today, and to invited me to this podcast in Singapore. We'll have the opportunity to, I think, celebrate the end of Token 2049 this weekend with everyone.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for sharing your insight, your vision. I feel privileged to be able to sit down here today, and I'm really excited to sit down with you again in the future and just to see where you've taken it, because you are positioning yourself with the right team. You have the right mindset to take this to the next level. I'm really excited, Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Keira, and thank you everyone for your time. Happy to catch up soon.